Welcome to my birth story. It is very long, so let's jump right in. I was due February 2nd, but delivered February 9th and spent 6 nights in the hospital. It all started Thursday night at 11 p.m. when my water broke naturally. We were so excited. It was kind of like slowly happening. It wasn't like the movies where the huge waterfall. I wasn't having any contractions. Things didn't seem to be progressing. And so I went to the hospital 5 a.m. the next morning on a Friday. At this point, I was only 0.5 centimeters dilated. I was walking the halls, they had me doing exercises, and finally Friday night we decided it was time for an intervention. And so I took my first meso pill. My contractions were 30 seconds apart and increasingly getting more and more intense. So they decided to put an IV in and monitor me to see if it was due to dehydration or the meso pill. In the middle of the night, I decided it was time to get the epidural, which takes us into Saturday, and I was still feeling an insane amount of pain, which we find out why later. But then it was time to take the second meso pill. I was only 3 centimeters dilated and calling in the anesthesiologist because I was hurting. They just kept pumping me with meds, and at this point we decided that I had to start Pitocin because my body was just not progressing fast enough. And with Pitocin, you start at 2 and every 30 minutes you can double it. So it goes 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 all the way up to 20. So this process takes a while. The goal is of course not to go all the way to 20. 4 I threw up, at 6 I threw up, and at 18 I threw up again. There was a button I could click every 20 minutes for my epidural to give me a little extra push of medicine, and Corey through the night set his timer for 20 minutes. And the second that timer went off, we were clicking that button so fast. But once I got to 20, I was 7 centimeters dilated and his head was in position. So we were in a good space. Sunday morning at 4 a.m., I was 9 3/4 dilated and they told me it was time to start pushing and he was going to be out by 7 a.m. Wrong. I was pushing from 4 a.m. to 10:30. Your girl was trying so hard to get this boy out. Finally, they told me that he was stuck in my pelvis. My OB came in. She told me that the only thing left to try was a vacuum. We tried one time. It was unsuccessful. I will never do it again. It was the scariest thing in my life. When they were done, they flipped me to my side and everyone kind of got silent. I asked what was going on and the nurse said that my heart rate and baby's heart rate dropped and that I had to go into a C-section. In that moment, I started bawling because the last thing that I wanted to do was get a C-section. I had felt like the work that I did the last 3 days was for nothing, and obviously I was exhausted in every sense of the word. Corey started bawling, the nurses started bawling. It was just a very emotional moment. But at the end of the day, it was all about getting him out safely, so that's what we had to do. Prepped Corey and I, took us into the OR room and did 3 big pushes of medicine into my epidural and did a pinch test. The OB pinched 3 spots on my belly and asked if I could feel it. I was supposed to feel just a little bit of pressure, but instead I felt like she was stabbing me. And here's where we find out why I was in so much pain the whole time. Epidural wasn't put in all the way. Love that for me. Anesthesiologist had to take it out and redo a spinal block, which finally gave me some relief. The OB did a pinch test and I felt exactly what I was supposed to feel. Nada. 5 minutes after she started, the whole operating room erupted. He's so big. Oh my gosh. There's no way you were going to push him out naturally. And we just started laughing. Thank goodness he was too big to come out and that I'm not doing a C-section for nothing. The OB asked Corey if he wanted to stand up and see Beckett. And Corey was like, okay, I guess so. So he stands up. First he sees my guts on the table and then he looks up and sees our handsome man right in front of him. I'm staring at Corey, who's staring at our baby, and he just loses it. And he goes, "That's my son." And I cannot see because my eyes are just so filled with tears. It is the most beautiful moment ever. During this whole thing, Corey was able to play his own playlist. And so when he went over with the nurses to the side, the OB goes, "Oh my gosh, this is the perfect song to be playing." And it was Coldplay, "You're a Sky Full of Stars." Oh man. And then when they were done checking out Beckett, they brought him to me to do skin to skin. I just couldn't believe that I built a 9-pound, 14-ounce baby. It's still hard for me to talk about, and I still cry when I tell the story because it is just nothing of what I expected. If I had to give any advice to new moms that are about to give birth, surrender to whatever is going to happen. Know that delivering your baby in the healthiest and safest way possible is all that matters. That will forever be the hardest thing I do in my life. Until maybe baby number 2. So there you have it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I love you guys.